humanities. Can I think of something which is exactly brings all of them together? It is nothing but the government. And here I just put a picture because, look at India. And India is progressing the worldwide, the economic growth rate. You find out somewhere India is right now the fastest economy. What exactly drives it? What drives India to dream? And we are right now fourth largest economy in the world, and we want to become a $30 trillion economy in 2047. So what exactly is looking for that? And that's what the government, because if it can happen, of course, the market is important. But if the government can perform, can we make the elephant dance? That's what my proposition. And in this context, the Capacity Building Commission has been formed in India in 2020, and they have been mandated to create the capability and capacity for the entire civil services across different central government, state government, everywhere. The question before us, they have created some kind of a competency framework. The government wants performance, accountability, citizenship, governance, future readiness. Can this competencies deliver on this account? What exactly, in case the competency model has done, what has been done, our experiences from New Zealand, South Korea, Georgia, Estonia, I looked at them, then I tried to find it out. And how we are going to implement this competency model, what are the model and what exactly that's what we need to analyze. And what are the challenges and limitations? And how do these central training institutions can leverage the entirely the new idea that is being percolating down from capacity building commission? That's my crux of the research questions. And my presentation is about this is about a country that was we took over from British Empire in 1947. The civil services was right now they were serving the British Empire, and thereafter they are serving the rules and regulation. How do you create a civil services that exactly right now required meet the requirement of the citizens that is committed to its citizens and democratic country? And that's what exactly the challenge about. And that is what they said that in case we want to build this Bharat, and this is possible provided we have that kind of a passion in ourselves to create the Vikashit Bharat. That's what the first resolve, that is the Vikas resolve for develop India. The second is that we, unless we are connected to the roots, then we cannot do. We are something different in the marketing. We said that there's nothing called mass marketing. Something that is specific to us, that is specific to us, that is what should be Garba, the proud of India's legacy. Third is that this thing cannot happen unless we have a sense of duty that is kartavya. And finally, we have to take, we had the session on inclusion. We have to take everybody together, India as a subcontinent itself. So that is how to bring the ekta. So these are the four goals. How exactly we are looking at the world to at the India at the rate 2047. We want to deliver the enhanced performance. We want to ensure the accountability not only to the government, to the parliament, to the auditors, but to the citizens, to the colleagues, to the others. And third is that how do you make the citizen at the center? Actually, it has to be citizen-centric governance, how the policy is being made with all of them. And third is that the world is unpredictable. We are in a VUCA world. How do you create a civil services which can take care of all the changes we have seen recently, COVID and other changes happening, impacting how we can create a civil services that can take care of the it will be future ready. So this exactly the model exactly I'll give a brief about the model. The first of all is that are the civil services motivated to perform? That's the motive. Do they have the means? Do they have the competencies? And third is that do they have the opportunities through the system and processes and through their entire ecosystem? This is what the Mission Karmayogi looks at. So while looking at the competency model, what actually Mission Karmayogi comes with a competency model, it has got three kind of competency. It has got behavioral competency, it has got functional competency, it has got a domain competency. As you can see, these are the 13 behavioral competencies. Something are core, something are leadership competencies. So this is the model in which they have developed, in which there'll be different label of competency in which the civil servant must come up to that particular label, depending on the role that they are playing. This competency are different from each category of people. It has to be selected. So next is that I will look at the functional competency. Functional competency are the same across different ministries. Suppose I am dealing with right to information, I'm dealing with public procurement. They are not just because to belong, they're not behavioral competencies. They are competencies which cut across different ministries and departments. So these are the competencies that you can see here, 21 functional competency and 68 associated themes. These are the competencies. I'm not going to look at it. My research is about how the competency are going to deliver on the promise of Vikasit Bharat. So that's what exactly here they say that these are the four gunas, that the attributes. Initially, it has to be done by the self study, that is Swadhyaya. It cannot be done alone. It has to be done by a teamwork, and it is possible by Sahakaryata. Then third is that we have a concept called Raja Dharma, that is righteousness in our all our action, that is Rajya Karma. And finally, is that the citizen has to be the center of it, that is Swadharma. How, as a civil servant, what is my Swadharma? Am I committed to that kind of a civil service for that? So these are the four gunas. The research methodology here I adopted, I Stufflebeam, he talks about a context, input, process, product model that I have done it. So it is a qualitative research. What we have done is that the entire document has been analyzed, the Karmayogi competency program, and we referred to a secondary data sources in 2010. Some survey was done by Government of India at a large scale. So what are the findings about the different kind of training and learning and development intervention that we looked at it? So looking at that, also I said that what do you learn from other countries? Have they implemented this competency model? Look at New Zealand. New Zealand has implemented their public financial management system. There's a performance orientation towards it. That means the rewards recognition scheme was aligned not only by this PFMS scheme, but also to the civil servant by doing the scheme. South Korea, they invested substantially in training. They wanted to improve their budget. So they had done merit-based recruitment and transparent performance measures. So they also achieved significantly by driving through competency. Look at Georgia. Georgia reduces corruption score by exactly they had done for merit-based hiring, anti-corruption measure. So all this, what I'm trying to bring out, that what are they learning from the global best practices, whether the Karmayogi model is aligned to that. And what we see is that the conclusion is that Karmayogi model is aligned to that. So this is what exactly survey 2010 survey is about. People find that when it was done across the country, it was found that we are delivering very generic training program. They are not specific to the job. There's a need for need-based design. The inadequate job analysis was done. The aptitude evaluation is missing. And some people, this right side, you can see that people found that mentoring and on-the-job learning is equally important. And there is a need for more specialization. That's what 77% people said. And they said that the leadership orientation has to be there for the civil services, that the 50% people said. This is from this survey result. So basically what I want to bring it out, all these elements to extend the new competency model of the Mission Karmayogi actually incorporates them. So look at the first pillar, actually, that's what we want to deliver, citizen-centric governance. One of the competencies highlighted over there is design thinking. Basically, you have to take multiple perspectives of different citizens while you design a public policy program. You are partnering with citizens and you are collaborating with them, and you have empathy as a part of service orientation, and you are trying to adopt a consensus-based approach. So all these things, when we analyze the model, we find out it is possible to have achieve citizen centricity in this Mission Karmayogi model. The second is that we are looking at performance. Without performance, nobody stays over there. So how do you drive performance? Initially, they say that we are moving away from a rule-based system to a role-based system. So we have defined the roles, and the role-based competency have been defined. Then second is that there's the competency dictionary, there's a commitment to quality, and there's the outcome orientation for the civil servant, and there are leadership competencies. If you look at all this competency, you have a performance targets, you have annual performance appraisals. So all these things, what are you saying? And when you are trying to enhance performance, you are partnering with the civil services. We call it Jan Bhagidari, that is citizen participation. So we are leveraging technology, and in this competency, because I talked about the data-driven decision making, utilizing technology, and that's what e-service model is about. So all these things, what we point out, if the civil services delivers the civil services with the digital technology, it will be delivered, it will be gearing up for performance. So this is what exactly we are looking at the entire structure. I have mapped it over there. Third is that how do you make the civil services future ready? How do you, because the entire world is about changing and you need to adapt to the change. How do you navigate ambiguity? How do you have resilience, some kind of a COVID black swan event happening, and then how do you show the resilience to it? How do you make decisive decisions despite the fact that data is missing and something is there? And that's what the capacity building commission, they propose a capacity building unit to be created in each of the ministry, in each of the department. That is what they are driving. And the right side, you can see the kind of competency they're trying to drive. It's adaptive. The civil servant has to be adaptive problem solver. He has to have decisive leadership. He has to be ethical decision maker, and he can manage the stress. So by all this competency, what you are trying to look at in future, the Indian civil service will be definitely future ready in case we can deliver on this count. Last is that accountability. Sorry, one second. The accountability is right now to the top, to the superior formation. How can we, you can see the accountability on the left side of the graph. It is a personal accountability, it's a team accountability. Third is that how do you drive it? You have an evaluation framework, and you are trying to implement tracking. You are doing to implement tracking. So on this 4 dimensions of the matrix, all the things are being planned. And the accountability, basically what we are doing, trying to do, we are driving through a right set. We can do look at it, work allocation orders we are giving. We are doing annual performance appraisal. We are having a competency passbook. All these things, what we are trying to see, and social auditing schemes, what we are seeing, that we are ensuring, trying to ensure accountability and the entire system to the new framework to make India ready for 2047. So this is what exactly collaborative learning model is about. The collaborative model, because it has to be driven through the training institutions, through a lot of training institutions are there. It has to be, people have to be, it has to be, because the sources are limited. How do you bring people? How do you connect to the places? How do you have knowledge partners? How do you have programs? How do you have publications? And India, in fact, has recently launched this Amrit Gyan course, the best repository of the case studies. The programs right now, India is one of the countries that which has launched a MOOC platform for the civil servant that is called iGot. This is India government training, so people can learn from the iGot. It's not only a MOOC platform, but also it's a collaborative platform. People can collaborate on that. It can have NOS tools, and it tells you what exactly, in case you want to have a career path, what are the trainings that you want to undertake. So basically, what is being done, this model is being developed to make India future ready, so that India can be a lesson to the world. So that how, and India wants to, the right, recently Prime Minister said 3 years down the line, we want to have a conference, and we have made some experiments in India, and we have seen that this kind of model is working, and we have utilized AI-based tools, and we have seen the performance, and we'll show to the world, demonstrate to the world that we have the best of the one of the best HR system, public HR system in the world 3 years down the line. So this is what exactly what we conclusion. That's my last slide, in which we are saying that although the model is right now more focused towards the training and learning intervention, there are some kind of a systemic reforms are required. Systemic reforms in case, unless you have got a performance management system, you really cannot drive the things. And you have to improve the work environment through HR planning and accountability mechanism. You need to have a performance-based appraisal system. You need to have assessment center. How do you assess these competencies? Although you have defined it at different labels, how do you do it? So you need to have the necessary implementation mechanism. And while you do improve the capabilities of the civil servant, it has to be done at a massive scale. And that's how the government has decided that a model of 70, 20, and 10, 70% training at the job label, 20% of the training to the iGot platform, and 10% will be the physical training. That's what we are talking about, utilizing technology to bring remote workplaces, workflows, all those things together. So this is how India is going to drive. I believe my research, I give this paper to Capacity Building Commission. I wanted to understand. I have given the suggestion for that. I actually written this paper, and it was done, it was discussed there, and they could appreciate the paper. Thank you so much for giving me this opportunity to present something that is path-breaking is happening, and how India is trying to surge ahead. So this is what exactly learning, my understanding of the things, and that's what I could analyze the model. I'm presenting before you. Thank you so much.